What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. This one took a little bit longer to make, and I apologize for the wait. Just kind of been taking it all in mentally, like what happened in this meet, and I'll go more into detail later. But these are the videos of all of my attempts at nationals, so stay with it. Thank you for joining in this video. So the next like 7 minutes are all of my attempts, so I'll catch you guys after.
Lifters and raw lifters out here today, so a good combination of both. Platform number 2, we still have everybody who has hit their openers. Good for them. Platform number 1, we're seeing the same thing. Not one person has made any failed attempts. And platform number 4, we have 2 individuals who unfortunately have not succeeded in their openers. Charlissa with a solid looking squat and waiting on the referees to give us a note whether that was completed or not. It was. We have 3 white lights for platform number 3. Lauren, who just completed her attempt on platform number 1, and all white lights.
Because you get all excited that you're finished your squat and then you don't quite lock them up. It happens all the time in training. So you get to the platform and they see that they're soft, and then like, oh well, there it is. So
we have on platform number Lauren Harriman hitting a big 152 kilo, very nice grind out, good lockout, and she follows the rat command, so we shall see if she hit depth. And 3 white lights for her second attempt. I would say, I don't know, probably 2.5 outwards. Ideally, we're pushing those knees out as aggressively as we can. We're going to see some valgus faults or some internal rotation faults, which is normal. It's common, especially when you're competing or attempting movements at a very high level. So these individuals are attempting weights that they've not touched before a lot of these times, and so we'll start having some deterioration of our form or our technique, which is normal. We are ideally prepared for that next big jump or that next PR or personal record, but sometimes our body will just deteriorate in form. Platform number 1, we have a miss, but those spotters and loaders do a really good job of keeping our athletes safe.
and if he's holding you for a while, he's more than likely to hold you for a while on each one. So that is one of the biggest resounding things at national meets that you will see that you will not always see at a local level.
Lauren Harriman on platform number 1, attempting 90 kilos on the bar here. 198 pounds. Getting ready here for platform number 2. The bar is loaded. They're waiting for the athlete, Tara Thomas, for platform number 1. Sorry, for platform number 2.
Yep, slightly longer start command for that because you see some shifting of the feet. The judges have to wait until you're completely motioned.
5 kilo plate on the bar, and then Megan Schilling on platform number 4 with a successful attempt. All of these are still on their openers, other than platform number 1, who is on their second attempts. Lauren Harriman is using some foot placements or some lifters for the feet. And David, can you go ahead and elaborate on what those guys are used for?
Sure. There are actually, I think, 3 different types of boxes that you can use in varying heights, and essentially the rule is your butt has to be on the bench. Some of these lifters, most of them are simply shorter or they have shorter tibias, and getting their butt on the bench is actually more difficult. And since the rule states that we just need to have our feet flat, what you'll see is a lot of these shorter lifters actually using the blocks because it
completed her or started her attempt. She gave us a quick smile to the camera, says hi to mom. Hi, mom. Kaylee Longoria, and unable to come away with that attempt, unfortunately, but good job from the spotters there. Lauren Harriman on platform number 1, attempting 170 kilos in the bar. She is using the conventional style deadlift.
It's always interesting to see the different kinds of footwear that these lifters use for their deadlifts. Bench is less interesting, deadlift's a lot more interesting.
There's some wild stuff out there. It's kind of fun to see.
Definitely, and socks as well.
The socks are the best. You have to have good socks.
Yeah, as weird as it sounds, I actually, when I go to nationals, I try my best to just play.
Lauren Harriman with 175 kilos on the bar. A big deadlift for a 56 kilo lifter. 175, and she is weighing in 56 kilos.
I have a really bad feeling about platform 1. I'm like sensing a lot of deadlifts are going to get really sticky around the knees on these third attempts.
We shall see. Lauren with a good second attempt. She's going to have a little bit less movement for her third attempt. You know, she's looking for maybe a 2.5 to 5 kilo jump here, and sometimes I don't know if that 2.5 kilo jump is really worth it. Liftingcast.com to check and follow us, and you can see the scorecards. You can look ahead, you can see who's in what weight class, what they weighed in at. Some of these athletes, maybe not in this specific session here, but when you get to primetime sessions, we look at even the minuscule weights that people weigh in at. Because if I have a tie and I have one individual weighing less than the other, the person who weighs less is the person who will come away with the victory. It also affects the DOTS points that we have in USAPL, and that is just a pound for pound equalizer, and gender as well. Platform number 1, we have Lauren Harriman attempting her third deadlift at 182.5 kilos. We're going to be seeing another American record attempt here coming up soon. Tersa St. Ford on platform 2.
Yep, explosive deadlift.
Very nice. She's now able to lock it out, it seems.
All right, and I'm back. So, again, those were all of my attempts. It's been about almost 2 weeks since nationals, and I just really, really wanted to kind of digest everything that happened. It wasn't a terrible meet by any means, but it wasn't what I knew I had to showcase at this meet. I'm really good at the local meets, and I know I've said this before in videos, but it's just something about the bigger stages that I have a hard time executing. And although this was at a lower weight, so instead of doing 57, I was a 56 kilo class this time. And although it's not a lot of weight, it does make a little bit of difference when you're on the platform. So literally anything can happen. I had like one of the best preps I've ever had. Bench was flying. It was making some great strength gains. Same with squat. I did have that little adductor kind of like little injury, nothing major, but I mean, we were still able to make some serious strength gains in squat. Deadlift, like that 402, after the training and the prep, like it was very, very, like 402 should have happened. So I've been talking to Jazz a little bit, just kind of going over what happened in the meet and just kind of my execution and lack of execution on my squat and my deadlift, and I totally take responsibility for that. That's on me. Squat, I don't know, I just kind of gassed out on that 347. I had probably 341 on the day, but we wanted to PR, so 347 is the number I wanted, and maybe going forward that's not what I should do at these big level meets, is have a number in mind. Just kind of take what I have in the day and go from there. Bench, like I said, during prep was just flying. So I ended up hitting 203, 204, 203.9. But again, that wasn't a PR or anything. That's what I hit in my last meet. Just again at 57 instead of 56 kilo. We decided not to try for the third attempt just because that would waste energy. And the way that 203.9 moved, we didn't think that even like a 2.5 kilo jump would have happened. It kind of grinded out a little harder than normal and even harder than during prep. So not sure what happened there. I know mechanics wise I was set, so we'll have to keep watching film and just kind of see how my prep after this meet goes and see what we can kind of tweak and stuff like that. But for deadlift, this was the hardest one to kind of, hardest pill to swallow because my deadlift honestly had been going so well during prep. Felt so good, even on my second attempt when I hit 385. Again, that was no PR by any means. That was actually less than my last meet. I hit 391 my last meet at 57 and probably could have had 391 at nationals. But again, we wanted to go for that 402 just because that has been a goal of mine to finally get in 400s for deadlift. So I felt great. I was like, Jazz, load it up. That 385 felt really good and I was really motivated. And so in the video, it took them a while to set up because they were cleaning the platform and stuff. And so kind of got in my head and I kept moving the bar and I shouldn't have done that. I knew I shouldn't have moved it from where it was. But I moved it forward a little bit so I wouldn't be where they sprayed or anything like that. And that's not to make an excuse. It's just my thought process while I was setting up for this deadlift. I wanted to move it out of the way, and when I did, it just wasn't even. And so when I tried to pull, it just, everything was off. That isn't to say that I would have gotten it for sure if I didn't move the bar, but I think it would have moved way better than what it did. It didn't even get like to my knees. In last competition, like I had it right before lockout and I just couldn't squeeze my glutes to finally finish the deadlift. So a lot to kind of digest from this meet, but everyone, like the spotters and loaders, did amazing. It was a really well run competition. It was fast. It was so fast. So in the warm-up room, we would literally be done with squats and then it would feel like I would try and refeed or something like that. And literally as I would put something in my mouth, Jazz would be like, okay, we need to warm up for the next one. So it just seemed really fast. It was a very efficient meet. Something to think about going forward. Not quite sure what my next meet is. But yeah, everything went okay on comp day. Things to definitely work on, and we've just been going on and on about stuff I can do. I think the next thing, and I was talking with Jazz, is also my mentality. I have a really, really good mentality during prep. Like, I'm confident. I am kind of like hyping myself up during my prep. But then come peak week and like when I have the taper is when I start getting into my head. And as the meet gets closer, I kind of start second guessing things. I start overthinking. I start like just all this nonsense that wasn't there during prep until the final like week before. And then comp day kind of like switches back to that mentality of I'm a freaking beast. I know I can do this. But again, there's that little seed of doubt in the back of my mind. So her and I, she's given me kind of homework, I guess, of to write down as much as I remember my thoughts during prep, my thoughts to myself during that peak and taper week, and then my thoughts during the meet. So hopefully we can find something there, kind of psychologically what's going on. And I have started writing stuff down, and it's very interesting for me to see my thoughts and how they shift and stuff like that. So I'll share with you guys that in the next video. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on the meet. It was cool seeing everyone from previous meets and from previous nationals I've met through powerlifting. So it's always good to see everyone in that community, and everyone kind of like, although we're competing against each other, we want everyone to do their best. And honestly, 56s are strong women. You miss 1 or 2 lifts and you're off the podium. So I ended up finishing 8th, 3rd during the session, 8th overall. So we're still just chipping away. Hopefully we'll get on that podium soon. I know I can be on the podium. I believe I am one of the top 56 kilo lifters that there is, and I'm going to continue to believe that until I stand up on that podium. So, but that's it. If you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.